And we're back at the Tonight Show.
Gee willikers. I sure was here last time. How's it going, friendo?
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Valley of the Judge. I am your one and only gaming monk, better known as Mildra, and with me we have the two newest members of these hallowed halls. We have
less hollowed.
the one who's making me think of way too many Omega Man jokes with good brother Drum.
Hi.
And
Hell yeah.
our resident cyber harpy, good sister Akko.
Hello. It's me, the Burb. I can chirp, among other things. Yes.
Yep.
Meow.
As well as sound like a speakeasy, apparently.
What was that?
You can't.
Do you hear something about cats?
No?
Yeah, my cat's meowing
I
at
can be a
me.
cat if I want.
But
Oh, yeah.
now, obviously, you two will be joining the Thursday episodes of the Valley starting next week. But I figured I'd use this in-betweener bit of time between the last season that was finished, which was Daggerheart, and what we've got coming next, to kind of bring you up to speed and get everybody on the same page regarding what the Valley is.
Oh yeah.
So-
Also, quick question: do I need to be anywhere specific? Like, should I be over here or something?
As long as you're not trying to block them right in front of me.
Well, yeah. I was like, I realized my wing's kind of in front of you. I'm not sure how to fix that.
You might want to shrink a little bit.
Yeah, probably should. Yeah, I realized my wing was like, whoa! I was tickling you with my feathers, and that just didn't quite work out right.
I've got ice feathers to account for the feather quota. Don't worry about that.
Excellent. Okay, this looks better. Okay, there's like us, the guests, someone hiding there. Okay, but I'm no longer in front of you. People can actually see you. I'm not sure how to fix that. There's some way to move us around in the layers, but let's not worry about that now.
That's
Yeah.
alright.
I mean, this is, I think, the third time I've used VNet. But I would like to open this up with kind of your backgrounds, respectively, on TTRPGs, where you got introduced, and I'll go into mine. Some of it will be a bit redundant for my channel, but it'll be a nice building block.
Excellent.
Sure.
So I'll start with you, Drum.
Okay. Oh, is this where I explain my origin story?
Yes.
All right. So the year was 20. Oh God. I think it was either 2016 or 17. God, this feels so long ago. And the minor details they escape me. But from what I can remember, it was just a normal day, and I decided to go perusing my local game store. And what would you know and have it? A good friend of mine from high school was there. And what was he doing? He was playing some Dungeons and Dragons Adventures
Heck
League
yeah.
with some people he knew. And I'm like, hey, and I was like, hey, what's all this then? And they're like, this is D&D. I'm like, ooh, interesting. Can I join? And they're like, yeah, sure. But not tonight. We're in the middle of a game. And I'm like, understandable. Have a great
course.
night. After that initial encounter, I think I stuck around a little bit, watched, and was like, "Ooh, I could see myself doing this," because D&D was in my I only knew so much about it prior to then. from like references, TV shows, other sorts of media, and all I knew was that I could make fantasy character and do fantasy things and roll some dice. And so my good friend showed me how it worked, told me what there was. I created my first ever character, a monk. Good old Dax Arum.
Hell yeah.
The golden hair, bagpipe playing, typical hero type first character. And man, the rest is history from there. And for several years onward till this day, I've been playing D&D as much as I can every week. There was a bit of a in recent years there was a bit of a lull because of locations moving, but here I am now running my own campaign on Thursdays, and here I am with you.
Mm-hmm. So what about you?
Well, I'm about to feel very old.
Try me.
All right. Well, my story starts, I believe, in about 2002. Yeah, that's a little bit further back in it.
Am I younger than you?
Possibly. I'm over 30.
Really?
Yeah. Doesn't cost much. I'm a Hagbird. Anyway, let's see. Ever heard of Neopets?
Yeah, I've interviewed the people who are doing a Neopets RPG.
Oh, nice.
I didn't know there was one, but hell yeah. Anyway, well, that'll speed things up a bit. Anyway, yeah, my first exposure as a kid was to this like little game within a game called NeoQuest. It was like this little like sort of a tabletop RPG mixed with like a JRPG. It was weird. It was janky as hell. See, I censored myself there. And I adored it. I tried to make it into like a physical game with like actual boards I drew.
Ooh.
I think I still have one of those boards somewhere. But that was my like introduction to the concept of a tabletop RPG. And a few years later, my dad got me the starter kit for D&D 3.5, and I got very into it. And then I started reading Order of the Stick.
Yes, Oots. I've referenced.
Oh my god! Thank goodness someone knows what I'm talking about. That was like my first like introduction to an online anything. Like I spent so much time in the forums. I think my posts are probably still there if you look hard enough. Yeah. Oh. That was how I got introduced to D&D in 3.5. Then also I got into like D20 Modern and various spin-offs. Naruto, the freaking Naruto D20 fan game actually comprised a significant amount of my early campaigns.
Naruto D20 is great.
Naruto
the summoner.
And
yeah,
Naruto 5e is also great, though anyone thinking that that's D&D 5e with a Naruto paint on it, well, good for you, but you're still wrong.
Excellent. Well, actually, funny story about that. The last version D&D I ever played was 4th edition.
I stand 4th edition in this house, and I will have no one slander it.
Honestly. Oh, hell yeah, it was fun. Honestly, like, it was very different, but it was fun. And from then on, I swapped to Pathfinder, and also a little bit of World of Darkness more recently.
Yeah.
Yes.
I've mentioned this in the past, but I work with the creator of World of Darkness. In a roundabout way, he's my boss.
Oh. Hell yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, Mark Reinhagen. The guy behind Vampire, which is of course the OG of.
To be fair, I played Flap. I forgot the name. It was like superheroes and mutants sort of setup.
Aberrant
is completely space. Aberrant? No, maybe.
No, it was Aberrant. Was the. It was probably Aberrant. That is the closest to superheroes that World of Darkness has gotten.
Okay, hold on. Let me double check my notes. I have it here somewhere. Yes, I keep notes of these things. Oh, Flap. This is me scrolling through my Discord to find the thing I'm in. Because I can't remember how that worked. It was called. Oh, come on. It was called Deviant. Deviant. That was it.
Oh, Deviant the Renegades. That
Yeah, Demon and the Renegade. Yeah.
Yeah, when you said superhero, I think that's what threw me off. It could be worse. You could have tried to do a balanced run of Mage, but Mage was never balanced.
Right. Well, to be fair, we were playing it as a sci-fi campaign. Everyone was furries. It was amazing.
But
more impressive though was for 9 years solid, every single Friday I would play Pathfinder First Edition. Wrapped up a couple months ago.
Yeah. But for me, I got my start all the way back in when I was 10 years old in 1997.
Oh, you're older than me. Damn.
I was born in 1997.
Okay, so Trump there's younger than me and you're older than me. I mean, I'm right in the middle.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
You're the middle child.
Yes. It's just kind of funny. All of my siblings also got into D&D. Let's see, that's 4 sisters and 2 brothers. So hot damn.
Nice. It's a big family. Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was only recently I was looking at it's like, oh wait, I have a big family. Well, mostly because I haven't talked to most of them in 10 years. I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah, and
meanwhile,
this would be the point where I'd make the joke of me being the oldest and the tallest of the three of us, because well, my brother from another mother and I tend to make the tall jokes about everybody because, well, it ends up being accurate. But before then, I was a big fan of game books. Whether it be stuff like Bloodsword, whether it be stuff like Fighting Fantasy, Lone Wolf, and of course Choose Your Own Adventure.
Oh, that sounds cool. Heck yeah.
And
I know Choose Your Own Adventure.
A lot of them was due to the fact that I would spend days in libraries and bookstores. For decades, I had the habit of going into a bookstore when it opened and not leaving until it closed.
Oh, I love that. Hell yeah. That's the stuff.
Yeah, I can see it. Those things will eat up a lot of your time. Normal D&D eats up a lot of your time, so even the small version, whew.
But the best one of that bunch was, of course, Lone Wolf, which I'm glad to see has gradually made a comeback in the last few years.
I might have to check that out.
But I think it's somewhat helped by the rising amount of attention that I've been seeing with solo and journaling games over the last 7 years.
A friend of mine talked about one of those. It was like you play one as a mech pilot, and it was like a solo RPG. It was cool.
Yeah. But my mentor had gotten me into D&D by basically pitching it as an interactive version of the stuff I was already a fan of. Because in addition to that, I had a kind of exchange program with myself and several friends where we would swap game consoles with each other. Since one of us had an NES, one of us had a SNES, one of us had TurboGrafx, one of us had a Genesis or Mega Drive for the weebs among you.
I feel so young. I grew up with a PlayStation. That's it. PlayStation 2.
So
I know my first was a PlayStation 2.
Yeah, so that and growing up with a lot of fantasy fiction in general, that was part of the pitch. The version that I ended up starting with when it came to D&D was Advanced Second, specifically what's known as the Black Book era, which started in 1995. The sweet irony is that
that's almost as old as I am.
Is that the Black Book era? Its player's handbook says this is not AD&D 3rd edition. A bit ironic, given what would happen shortly afterwards. Which
okay, actually, I have something related to say. I actually did go back later and learn how to play second edition.
Mm-hmm. And
all I know is that when I questioned my friend about what was it, 4.5, he said we don't talk about 4.5. Or was it 3.5? I can't remember.
It's also 5.5.
Yeah, but that's current. This was back in like 2018. I asked him.
I've had my fair share of adventures with 3.5 and with fourth. I've gotten some people really mad at me for calling out bad takes on fourth, and there was no shortage of bad takes, or reminding them that some of their bad takes on fourth were the exact same bad takes I heard about third all the way back in 2000.
Goddamn, I remember those.
And of course, some people really got mad when I said the people who were making the MMO argument when it came to fourth did not know how MMOs actually work.
Oh god, I remember that, yeah. Which was especially funny because there was, actually, remarkably still is, a D&D 3.5 MMO.
It's
pretty fun.
There is a 3.5 one. There is a 4.0 one, kind of.
Mm-hmm. Kinda.
And
it's really wild that DDO is still alive.
And there's been talk of trying to do it again, but because of the events that have happened over the last 2 years, people aren't as optimistic about it.
Wait, what events? Did I miss something? Well, then again, I've been playing Pathfinder, so I might be part of it.
Actually, in this particular case, I'm not sure if you can use that as a get out of jail free card.
Damn. Okay.
Because I'm guessing neither of you heard about the OGL fiasco from 2 years ago.
Oh, that I forgot about that. Yeah, I actually completely forgot about that. Wow.
I don't believe I recall.
Yeah,
Oh, that's right. That's why Pathfinder Second Edition changed a bunch of terms.
Wait.
I was at ground zero for that whole thing. I'm not saying that I was in Wizards of the Coast offices, because after my stint as a playtester for them and I, we don't talk anymore.
I'm having a weird realization that there's a non-zero chance we've met before. Huh.
Probably. I tend to be in a lot of places.
Well, it's just I was actually a playtester for D&D 5e way back when.
Oh,
nice.
Huh.
I had done it, but some of the people there did not complain that I was being too negative. Their words. Because I was asking why certain things were getting filed off in a move that I felt was overcompensating.
In your defense, some people don't know how to take criticism. They should learn how to take criticism.
Well, I think I said to one person, because I can be very blunt. I said to them, if you wanted to hire somebody to kiss your ass, I know a few people in the red light district who can do that.
Oh my.
But we
do have red, green, blue, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
That's funny. Our color schemes were the RGB crew.
Yeah.
Oh my god, we are.
Oh, that's great.
It plays havoc with trying to chroma key myself sometimes.
Yeah, we are.
I have blue, red, and green.
We are Roy G. Biv. But for those who were unaware, and I did do a postmortem video a few months back, going into what happened in my own theories with the OGL fiasco. So OGL is Open Gaming License. This has been a open license / gentleman's agreement that has been around with the D20 system since 2000.
That's honestly how I learned so much about D&D, was because of the D20 system being, open source.
Yes, it wasn't full-on open source, and the OGL was intended as a peace offering because in the waning days of TSR, they pissed a lot of people off by getting excessively litigious to the point where there was...
Oh, so that's what caused it. I never actually knew about that.
No one thing caused the bankruptcy of TSR, but the biggest contributor...
I meant, like, the OGL thing.
It's never been outright stated that was the reason why, but it's largely been understood as a peace offering because TSR, the original owners of D&D, were very litigious about homebrew rules being put up on the internet. Keep in mind, this was '90s era internet, where it was even more Wild West.
Damn, I remember that. I remember the tail end of that.
Yeah, but I also remember seeing an argument about why they had to protect the rule set, arguing that you wouldn't use custom rules in a chess tournament, which is a very dumbass thing to say.
It really is.
And for the OGL, which wasn't necessarily open source per se, there were caveats and there were things that you could put in. You did have to put in this requires the player's handbook. In the back of the book, you did have to put the full text at some point in the text of what you're working on, and you had, along with it, the system reference document that was basically, here's what you can take.
I freaking love the system reference document.
And because the system reference document was part of that, it could be put up on all manner of sites, including the one site that I think you're probably thinking of, which had the hypertext SRD.
No, actually, I'm thinking. Well, so kind of. I discovered that later on. The original one I looked at was basically like direct Wizard. There was hosted by Wizards of the Coast. It was PDFs. I think it was actually the version intended for like third-party publishers to, use material from. But that's the one I read through as a kid a bunch.
Yeah.
Especially the D20 Modern section. Oh, hell yes.
And a couple years ago, Wizards of the Coast, in their infinite wisdom, you can't see it, but I'm doing massive air quotes, decided...
I could hear the air quotes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Decided that they were going to update the OGL, and this update would be applied retroactively. And then
now it's coming back to me.
All hell broke loose.
Damn.
Because you're dealing with a document that has been used so that people could make their own D&D content, and you're dealing with thousands, if not millions, of documents. Whether it be text files, whether it be PDFs, whether it be full-on books. Some of them in fact, a lot of them are from companies that no longer exist.
I feel so old.
So there was a lot of chaos, and because I work with a lot of people who do third-party D&D content, I was in Zoom calls and Discord calls constantly, trying to get to the bottom of things and trying to calm people down. Because
I was in the Discord server for that kerfuffle for a while.
Yeah, because a lot of people were worried that they were going to get sued.
Yep.
And
wait, now I think it's coming back to me where everyone online and YouTube, Twitch were like, be careful about streaming Dungeons and Dragons content, or is that something else I'm thinking of?
That was something else. Streaming policy wasn't brought up during this.
Okay.
But after the initial backlash, which I'm pretty sure even a blind man could have seen coming.
Yep.
and I was blind for about 3 months.
Damn.
That's a whole other story.
I mean, I'm kind of curious now, but we'll save that for after stream.
But they said that was a draft that got released by accident.
Yeah,
and
totally.
The amount of people who
cover their asses.
Yeah, nobody believed it. They put out a updated
this is the worst
version.
lie I've ever heard.
They put out an updated version to as if to say I was only pretending to be retarded.
Jesus.
That updated version was even worse because of a very vaguely worded morality clause and the whole thing of You are giving us a perpetual royalty-free license to use your content. Yeah. So people were still mad. And then they said, screw it, we're putting the OGL in the Creative Commons 3.0. Now, it isn't full Creative Commons. The attribution share-alike part isn't in... The attribution part is in there, the share-alike clause is not in there. Because that's how Creative Commons can work. There are... Creative Commons, much like any legal document, there are as many exceptions as there are rules.
Oh.
And I had stated that I thought it was an amusing coincidence that they did this right around the time one of their investors was publicly shit-talking them on all forms of social media, and that they were getting hounded by places like Bloomberg for overproducing. Is that was the thing?
I thought we were going to talk about the thing where Wizards of the Coast sent didn't they like send private investors after someone for review?
That was after the fact.
Oh god, that was after? Wow.
Yeah.
That's coming back to me. Fudge.
Now, the investor who had previously called Wizards of the Coast leaderless, their words, called the whole thing an unforced error, also their words, and had basically stated that it was a dumb move to do this right when Heroes Among Thieves was on the verge of coming out.
Oh yeah, the movie. That was actually a decent movie.
Decent movie, but they chose the worst time to put it out.
Yeah, they really did.
Because the week before Honor Among Thieves came out, John Wick Chapter 4 drops. 2 weeks...
I've never actually watched...
Oh, yeah.
I've never actually watched John Wick. I've always meant to.
2 weeks after it dropped, Super Mario Brothers drops.
Oh.
Really? They're all back-to-back like that?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Wow, that's crazy.
So, between those two, it had no chance.
Oof.
Yeah.
Damn.
Although,
I mean, I thought it didn't it do still pretty well? Or at least everyone I knew, like, well, okay, I guess people liking it is different from it doing well.
I get the box office reports every week. It didn't. It didn't even...
Oh, wow.
It did worse than Shazam 2, which was already considered a bomb.
Oof.
They made a second one?
Yeah.
Oh.
Wait, what? No, I'm thinking of Black Adam.
No?
Because Black Adam was its own separate movie.
I forgot they made the first one, and I didn't even know they made a...
Yeah, and...
Well, it was a good movie, even if it didn't perform well.
You know, I vaguely recall Shazam 2 because of the memes.
Well, I don't mean Shazam 2. I've never watched Shazam. I meant...
Okay, I haven't either.
The D&D movie.
Mm-hmm.
Then again, I like the original one, too.
Look, the only true D&D movie is still Darkness Rising.
Oh, that one was friggin' amazing. I loved that one. I'm glad someone other than me knows what the hell it is, though.
And
I've talked to knows what Darkness Rising is.
But being honest, Hasbro's film division having terrible marketing is nothing new. Looking at you, Transformers 1. I hope whoever handled the marketing for that got flogged in public.
Boy, I sure hope someone got fired for that blunder.
I'm
canon.
No, I wouldn't have them fired. I'd have them flogged or keelhauled.
Damn.
Oh my, fancy.
Either that or just have them spend 5 minutes with Minoru Suzuki, aka the Murder Grandpa.
I have so many questions.
Oh. Because look, I'm not trying to hit a man while he's down. I'm trying to kick him because that's easier.
Oh my.
All right, roll with advantage now that he's prone.
Yeah.
What does that mean? Oh wait, is that the double roll thing that they added in 5th edition?
Yep.
Yeah.
Instead of 1d20, you roll 2 d20s. Take the higher.
I'm old.
Amhuff says, "What about forceful yoga?" Oh yeah, there's that too. The art of folding clothes with people still in them.
Hooray!
Oh god.
Fun times for all.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
But and of course, in the aftermath of that, a lot of people started making moves because even though when something's in Creative Commons, there's no takebacks, meaning there's no way that they could do that same retroactive shit.
It still seemed like they might try somehow.
The sentiment across the development sphere was, if it was that easy for you to fuck me, what's stopping you from doing it twice?
Exactly.
Damn.
And you have things like a lot of prominent creators saying, "Screw this! I'm making my own game." Whether it be the Dungeon Coach with DC20, whether it be Colville with Draw Steel, which I'm covering on Fridays, whether it be eventually Darrington with Daggerheart, which we just finished covering a week ago.
I confess I don't know what any of this are, but they sound cool.
As well as the big case being Paizo teaming up with the Azora Law Group, who helped pen the original open game license, to create a brand new license called the Open Role-Playing Content License, or ORC.
That's the one I was in the Discord for. I remember.
And the reason why a revised version of Pathfinder 2nd Edition was done was to go through the original text and scrub out any wording that was in the original SRD.
Oh, I see. Interesting.
Because, and I do have to make one thing clear that a lot of people have misconstrued about the ORC license. Paizo does not own it. They were just its first client. The ownership is with the Azora Law Group, who have stewardship over it.
Oh, cool. Huh.
And further,
Don't expect that.
The original version of the ORC license has been placed into the Library of Congress, meaning that version of it will always be present. It cannot be changed.
Heck yeah!
Neat.
And I did a stream with my brother Xanatrix a while back, going over the details of it. There is a fair bit of legalese with it, but there is always going to be that because
definitely
of the poison pill that Wizard of the Coast introduced. And everybody has had their hot takes about why this even happened. I won't say that I have a hot take, but I do have a theory.
Yeah.
Because, and this is, I end up leaning into being a journalist, even though it took me 9 years to admit that I kind of am one. But
I was a journalist for a while. Believe it or not, I used to be a games journalist.
Yeah.
That was a strange period of life.
I know a few journalists who want to take a swing at me, and I told them you're 5'2", you wouldn't stand a chance.
Oh my. Hello.
I think in one case
I will pick you up like a club and then swing you outside.
Am I prime head padding height? Ooh, excellent.
I'm like 5'11".
I'm 6'6".
Oh, you're the same.
Damn.
All right. I'm. Wait. 6'6".
Yep.
Damn. Okay, you're about half a foot taller than I am.
Mm-hmm.
Which is the same height as Drum. Anyway.
Yeah. But.
That's funny.
The approach when it comes to the ORC license, it was going to have that poison pill, and getting back to my theory, I ended up looking at where Wizard of the Coast was in the financial world, as well as Hasbro, leading up to the incident. And I found out that they were getting
anything good.
Well, at the time, and I'm pretty sure still now, they are graded as sell, as far as their stock goes. And when it comes to ratings about stocks, you can put them into two categories: bullish or bearish. If people are bullish on it, that basically means you should be spending money on getting some shares in this because it's going to go up in the future. If they're bearish, it means hold off on this. Something might happen that might cause a drop or make a drop worse. And they were getting hounded in various presses, not just in gaming presses, but on Bloomberg of all places. They were getting hounded, and Trump just went small.
Oh my! What?
Where people were getting on them for overproducing Magic cards, because they vastly overestimated the demand during that COVID bubble. And they ended up producing way more stuff than they were going to reasonably sell once things cooled down a bit, and just overproducing in general, which is why there's whole landfills filled with nothing but Magic cards. Because
it's ET.
Yeah, they made way more than the demand.
Okay, come here. I would argue the original ET, the famous game, wasn't really that bad. It's just horribly overproduced and a lot of other issues at the time.
They had 6 weeks to make that game.
Damn!
Jesus!
Okay, holy shit, I've seen game jams with more time than that.
That's crazy.
This was 6 weeks. This was 6 weeks in the early 80s.
Okay, wow. Considering all that, that's actually pretty good under the circumstances.
Oh. Yeah, because the powers that be wanted it out for the Christmas rush.
No, that makes sense.
It's actually one of the things I wrote about briefly in the Mel Job, where it was like, this game's not actually that bad if you look at the history.
It's very handbrakey, which I think caused the reputation that it had, and
definitely.
You also had, I think the biggest long-term effect is the fact that Atari never recovered from it, and the Atari name has been. I think one of my best friends said the Atari name, if it was a car, would be a four-door Ford whore, because everybody's had a spin with that name.
I don't know what that means, but am I? God, Atari has been in a strange loop. They're actually still making games, believe it or not. Not a lot of games.
They are, and right up there with weird news. Show of hands and wings. Who here had Acclaim coming back as part of their 2025 bingo card? Now put your hands down, you fucking liar.
Acclaim. I don't actually know what Acclaim is, but I'm still amazed that there's a new Bubsy game coming out.
Yeah, but Bubsy was not on my bingo card at all.
Acclaim was
the thing that catches me off guard.
Acclaim was a game producer. Was a game producer in the 90s and early 2000s. They barely survived the 2000s.
On AVGN.
They were more infamous for some of their stuff in the 90s and some really, really bad advertising gimmicks in the early 2000s.
Oof, okay, this is coming back to me.
Specifically advertising on gravestones with the Shadow Man sequel.
Yep, it's coming back to me now.
Everything involving BMX XXX. I'm not going to go into further detail on that. If you want to know the skinny, go watch Matt McMuscle's videos.
Oh no, I know exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah.
If you know, you know.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, apparently they're back, and one of the co-owners is Jeff Jarrett, which is a sentence I never thought I'd see.
But the name sounds familiar, so I'm terrified.
Yes, Amov, Acclaim is back. They did a direct show earlier this week showcasing some of the stuff that they're publishing. They are basically in the same vein as say Devolver in terms of being a Indian AA publisher now. And
wow. Okay then.
Yeah. And since Amov also brings up Shadow Man and Turok, a lot of people forget that those were comic books originally.
Turok was a comic book?
Yeah, Turok was a very old comic book. Like Gold.
So I only got exposed.
That's crazy. I never knew that.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, I was gonna say I got exposed to Turok a couple months ago when a friend was showing me the game. I was like, wait, this is cool.
Yeah.
Oh man, I've known about Turok since the fucking N64 days.
Yeah, Turok was originally a comic under the Gold Key Comics label, which was around during the golden age of comics. So the 50s. It then got a reincarnation when Jim Shooter created the Valiant imprint after he got ran out of Marvel for various reasons, because he was a big fan of Gold Key Comics. And was able to, because those IPs from Gold Key were kind of in limbo, he was able to grab them. And that's how Valiant ended up getting IPs like Turok and Magnus Robot Fighter. And that's Jim Shooter is a a very influential figure. He sadly passed away earlier this year, but he kind of laid the groundwork for a lot of things that you would see during some of the more nostalgic periods of Marvel.
I didn't really know much about Marvel, I'll confess.
I
mostly know like Spider-Man. Spider-Man's cool.
Amen, sister.
He was the man who helped get Chris Claremont and John Byrne their jobs and backed them up when some of the other editors didn't like them.
Who are those?
Claremont and Byrne were the guys when it came to 90s Marvel.
Oh,
shit.
Okay.
Okay.
Like when it came to 80s and 90s Marvel, especially the breakout success of X-Men. That was that.
I didn't watch part of the X-Men cartoon as a kid. That was cool stuff. Yes.
Nice.
Yeah, I style myself as a bit of a historian, and you study these things enough, and you start to see a lot more connections than you would have otherwise.
I'm sort of a gaming historian, but with a much further back date.
Yeah.
Archaeological board games is my thing.
Oh, so you've attempted to play the campaign for North Africa?
No, I'm talking way older than that. I'm talking like 1200s.
I'm talking. Oh, Masala.
No, I'm sorry, I can't. There's this game called Hounds and Jackals from Ancient Egypt that I've always wanted to recreate a set of.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Getting back to it, there was also a comment from a certain woman who was the head at Wizard of the Coast. Then she was allowed to resign. Then she jumped over to Funko, and more recently she ran out of Funko. How the hell do you get run out of Funko? Is my question.
God, I'm right at the time that Funko bought a street in my hometown. That was an experience.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, actually, I think they may have been based nearby. But anyway, the point still stands.
Interesting.
But she had made a comment that in one of the investor meetings that when I heard it, I had to turn my head and do a spit take. So I did spit water on my monitor because of how brazen it was. Quote, our players are under-monetized. Now you may guffaw at that statement, but her background was in the game. That statement, but her background was in the games division at Microsoft before she got picked up by Wizard of the Coast. And once I found out that everything started to fall into place. Yeah, my particular theory was the move with the OGL.
Real quick, it looks like you're. Oh, and it's back. Your Twitch shut down for a second, and it just came back up.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. Sometimes things happen.
But, all right, we're back. Just running the net now.
Yeah, but I've had a bit of a theory that Hasbro was Wizard of the Coast was trying to show to Daddy Hasbro that they could still be profitable because Hasbro has not been doing well financially.
Really,
Transformers is down. MLP hasn't recovered since they moved to a new gen after the runaway success of Friendship is Magic. Their big attempt to try and break into film production blew up in their face with all three of the films that were done under the E1 banner not doing well financially. That being Power Rangers, Transformers 1, and Honor Among Thieves. It did so badly that E1 was sold off to Lionsgate.
Wow, that is sad.
Their Wizard of the Coast big attempt to break into video game production with Dark Alliance bombed so hard that it got the equivalent of a Razzie.
Never even heard of Dark Alliance. What the
That
heck is
sounds
Dark
familiar.
Alliance?
Hold on.
That game
It's
got
terrifying.
on a lot of. Now this is not to confuse it with Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance, which was on the PS2. That was actually good.
Uh-huh.
There was an attempt to try and do a successor of sorts.
Oh no!
A few years ago, it bombed. It was a critical disaster, and got on a lot of worst games of the year lists the year that it came out.
Really?
That's kind of impressive.
2021.
But
out, apparently.
Dang.
the only part of the Hasbro family that was doing somewhat decent numbers was Wizards of the Coast, and especially Magic.
Oh.
And trying to double down on that, and then when that wasn't working, the mindset was, well, we need to show that we can still be profitable instead of just coasting. And then we have the OGL thing, because there was not only that,
Oof.
but there was a screenshot that made the rounds hinting at a D&D Beyond Plus. Now, it was claimed that screenshot was fake. However, when I put that in the context of the under monetization claim, I'm a little less inclined to believe that it was.
Yeah, that sounds accurate.
I'm not saying that it was real. I'm simply saying there's enough legs where I couldn't dismiss it. And there was also and this is where my my nickname of Negrodamus came into play, because one of the other things that they were pushing, especially at that showcase that I wasn't invited to, because believe me, if I was, you all would have known about it, was that they were going to try and do their own virtual tabletop. Now,
oh god, I heard about that.
Them doing their own virtual tabletop, okay, not the move I would have taken personally, because that's already a crowded market as is.
Yeah, just a little bit.
With a lot of very feature-rich entries. But then they somehow took a bad idea and made it worse.
Microtransactions.
Nope. Woo! They didn't even get that far.
Oh god.
No, the bad move that they did was they were going to go a full 3D virtual tabletop using the Unreal Engine. Because they wanted to put it on consoles as well as on PCs.
Oh no.
Okay.
And when I caught wind of the fact that they wanted to do a 3D virtual tabletop, I had outright said that was using the Unreal Engine, which was all I knew at the time. I had said, this is going to fail.
Yes, it will.
And
I would certainly imagine so.
I did have some people going, how do you know it's going to fail when it's not even out yet? It wasn't even in early access for Beyond subscribers yet. I knew it was going to fail because of what it was going to have to compete against, and there was a bit of a higher floor when it comes to the 3D virtual tabletops, which is why those aren't used as much. I mean, you have Tabletop Simulator, which does everything. Tailspinner and RPG Bar. Those are the main ones when it comes to 3D virtual tabletop. But on the 2D end of things, you've got Roll20, Foundry, Owlbear Rodeo. You have
Owlbear Rodeo.
Okay, I'll confess I knew the first two, but Owlbear Rodeo sounds like a bizarre sex act.
Oh my god! Mythic Table.
Taco.
You have
I'm
Fantasy
just saying
Grounds.
that one sounds lewd somehow. I don't know why.
Head, gutter, out.
Yeah, will do.
And more recently, there's been projects like Tabletop Mirror, now known as Project Hedron. All of these are projects that are very feature-rich and easily accessible regardless of equipment level.
Which is important.
And I'm like, that is the baseline that you have to meet. And as far the other argument that I remember hearing was, well, none of those are tailor-built for 5e, and I'm like, we already have that. We have Shard Tabletop is over there. It's been around for about 5 years.
Plus, now, also saying it needs to be tailor-tied to 5e is like, it's dice mostly. If you can write things down and keep track of dice.
No, Shard Tabletop is a virtual tabletop specifically for 5e and nothing else.
Funky.
So the point is that there was no spot in the virtual tabletop market that was really filling.
This was D&D Plus, right?
This was the internal name for this virtual tabletop was Nexus. Not to be confused with the Nexus site, which is a whole different matter entirely.
No. I remember this. I heard about this when it was. Oh God, yeah. This.
And then and funny thing, they tried something recently with Project Sigil, which I actually got some free codes from.
Oh yeah, it was Sigil. That's what I was thinking of. That was when they did an early access version for Beyond subscribers, and it shat the bed.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
I mean, it's cool to look at, but like, man, did it kind of chug when I tried to run it?
Yeah, you weren't the only one who had problems. Everybody had problems with it, and the project got shit canned. And when I found out that it got shit canned, I busted out laughing in the middle of one of my streams because when I had said that it was not going to work out, I had a bunch of people calling me a hater, saying, you're judging too early, or basically trying to diminish. And I was like, who's laughing now? Because everything that happened, I predicted.
It makes me sad because I was really looking forward to that that ancient gold dragon statue.
But
my,
I had figured it would come out and bomb. I didn't think it would bomb before it even got out.
I feel like a lot of things have been doing that the last couple of years, where they somehow managed to bomb before they were released. It's kind of impressive.
When I did some digging, I found out that there was a disagreement over who was getting coffee. To put it one way. In the sense that you had two camps in the development team. You had one camp that was trying to make a standalone game, and you had another camp that was trying to make a tabletop application. And the two sides didn't. It's the classic case of having a director on one end and a producer on the other end, and both sides not seeing eye to eye.
Oh, jeez.
If you want a film example of that, look at, say, Spider-Man 3 or Star Trek 5. Both of them had that exact thing happen.
Really? I didn't know
either one, but I've heard of Star Trek 5, I think.
I've seen Spider-Man 3. I enjoyed that movie. Didn't realize there was such a thing behind the scenes going on with that.
What happened was Sony really wanted to focus on Venom.
Mm-hmm.
Raimi wanted to focus more on the OG Rogues Gallery for Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
They tried compromise. That didn't work. It was such a disaster that Raimi did not sign on for the fourth movie that he was probably going to do, that was going to focus on the Lizard. And then they do that reboot. The rest was history. And when it came to Star Trek V, it was more the issue of Shatner wanted to do a story about Kirk seeking out God, even though Roddenberry told him don't do that because he already tried that.
Is the one I heard about, okay.
The studio wanted to lean into comedy because of how well that worked with the last movie.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of those cases where you try and compromise and nobody wins.
Yeah, yeah, there's a lot of games that have had that issue.
I remember Chuck Sonnenberg describing it as, imagine if you say, well, I want to do a movie about the Holocaust, and the studio says, well, we want to do a musical comedy. Are you actually going to go through with that?
Oh, God.
I mean, we all know the best movie ever is the musical version of Schindler's List. I'm so sorry.
Such weird choices to make musicals out of.
Hmm. But it's one of those cases where people try and make compromise, but really this is a case where you can't because you end up pleasing nobody.
Yeah.
Yep.
But,
there's no winners, only losers.
But after all of that went down, I find it funny that Wizards of the Coast had the gall to advertise those 5.5 books for the 50th anniversary. And something I thought was very baffling when they announced the cover art for those books is the fact that the characters are meant to be these grown-up versions of the cast from the D&D cartoon from the 80s.
I remember that cartoon. I watched it. Was on at like 1 a.m. on a channel I watched as a kid and stay up too late watching sometimes. So I actually got exposure to that.
I thought it was odd because I'd imagine most people who are playing 5e don't know those characters.
Yeah.
And the people who know those characters aren't playing 5e because you ran them off.
Uh-huh.
Now says, I'm still waiting for my Shoggoth on the roof. That would be horrifying. But in a bit of a fucked up way, I honestly think the OGL fiasco may have been a net benefit for the totality of tabletop, because this is where I do need to get into a bit of my background.
Yes.
I was never somebody who stuck to just one system.
Oh, nor was I. That's why
I've jumped around between a bunch of systems, whether it be fan-made stuff, whether it be stuff that I helped people develop, or all manner of indies, especially once I really started expanding beyond my horizons in the early 2000s. And despite what that Riggs idiot was saying about the Golden Age being dead, I've talked about that particular bad take.
Oh my!
What I'm seeing now is not far removed from what I saw in the late 90s, where TSR had gone belly up, but that didn't kill TTRPGs. What it did was diversify them. You had a bunch of other companies step into that void. That was where White Wolf really started to get their foothold. That's where FASA started to get their foothold as well as guys like Artel Saurian Games and a bunch of other people.
Gosh, I haven't heard of a lot of them, but they sound cool. I know White Wolf, though.
FASA was the original owners of BattleTech and Shadowrun.
Oh, whoa, really? Okay, I've heard of Shadowrun.
Yeah. They're also the original owners of Earthdawn, which they still have. And Artel Saurian Games, well, they're the people behind Cyberpunk. Along with Mekton and Castle Falkenstein and Teenagers from Outer Space.
I've heard of Shadowrun and Cyberpunk. That sort of says a lot about my tastes. D20 Modern Shadowrun Cyberpunk. Okay, yeah, that's
You're gonna hear a lot of new names and new terms.
Excellent.
And within my monastery, that's something I will make very clear.
Oh my!
Hell yeah!
But because of that, you've had people developing their own games or seeking out greener pastures.
Nice.
And I have a feeling that's going to continue because I keep an eye on what projects are being kickstarted. I haven't seen as many 5e Kickstarters as I did a few years ago. That's not to say I'm not seeing any of them. I'm just seeing less of them. And you also have a lot of people developing their own SRD or their own open gaming license. I know that my friends over at Omnivore Games did that for their Emberwind game, which is very good. You have the fact that the basic role-playing family originally did their own SRD and then later on joined the Orc bandwagon. And you've had plenty of others do similar things.
You kind of cut out there.
Did I?
For a second, yeah.
Yeah, it was saying that
I think I
there's
should say something now in case the problem continued. So like, oh shit, I should
the
speak up.
there's far more diversification happening, and that's going to continue.
Makes sense.
Which, of course, I could just go through the interview playlist that I have just to further hammer home that point.
Nice.
And this also includes exposure to more international flair.
Oh yeah.
There have been a few companies that have really taken off over the last few years, and especially with this whole diversification. Are either of you familiar with Free League?
Free League. I don't believe so.
They are a TTRPG company out in Sweden. They're probably the biggest one.
Interesting.
They are the people responsible for the Year Zero family of games, including Alien and Blade Runner.
Huh.
Not heard of those.
They've
Lancers. Lancers a system I've heard of, but I don't know who it's by.
that is by Massif Press. That's a
Oh.
that is a independent affair. And there's quite a few else out there, but the other instance is getting exposure to the very vibrant tabletop community in Brazil, the one in Germany, and with a lot of these places, D&D does not have the foothold that people might think.
Oh.
I have spoken at length about the tabletop scene in Japan, and D&D has never really had a consistent foothold there for decades.
I've heard that, yeah.
Now, part of it was the fact that the Japanese translation for AD&D took way too long and was very expensive, and by the time it came out, other companies like Flying Buffalo had beaten them to the punch with games like Tunnels and Trolls getting their own translation, as well as Call of Cthulhu, and Call of Cthulhu is really big in Japan.
Hell yeah,
Really?
that's awesome.
By
I didn't know
extension,
that.
a lot of the basic role-playing family. And Earthdawn also seems to have a very dedicated fan base that I discovered by accident. But the other big reason is that the wargaming scene never really took off in Japan. The TTRPG scene over there was an offshoot of the computer gaming scene.
Oh yeah.
And a lot of computer gaming publications were servicing TTRPGs at the same time. That kind of went by the wayside when TCGs blew up in Japan for a few years, until they just suddenly died in 2002.
Actually, this reminds me of a manga. Have you ever encountered or read a manga called? Hold on, let me pull up the title real quick.
Mm-hmm.
I literally have it next to me. Destroy all humans; they can't be regenerated.
Yeah.
Shut. Wait, really? Okay, well then.
Yeah.
It's about like the early days of Magic the Gathering in Japan. It's fun.
Yeah.
Neat.
And no one's been able to explain exactly why the TCG space just died in the early 2000s. I find it an amusing parallel that there was a quick rise and fall when it came to MMA in Japan just as well. I do enjoy me some puroresu. I enjoy pro wrestling of all forms, and especially Japanese pro wrestling.
My friends actually had me watch it a couple times.
Yeah, I cut my teeth on the Four Pillars of Heaven when I was watching tapes from All Japan shows in the 90s.
Oh my!
As well as the insanity that is FMW, and insanity
What is that?
FMW was Frontier Martial Arts Wrestling. That was the promotion that Atsushi Onita had done when he ran himself out of New Japan. It is most infamously known for the exploding barbed wire matches.
Oh my god, I've heard of those.
What?
Oh no. Yeah.
You
heard him.
I heard him. I don't know if I believe him.
There are also it was basically the pioneer of the insanity of Japanese death matches. A few of them even involved piranhas.
Nice. Cute.
piranhas in a match where blood is involved, and sometimes that blood might get in the piranha tanks, just get them all good and pissed off.
Most piranhas are actually vegetarians.
Mm-mm.
Most people don't know that.
Yeah, until they smell blood, and then
tilapia. Tilapia's a type of piranha, or a relative anyway.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Oh
Yummy.
my god.
Like the craziest kind of deathmatch you might see in the States might involve ladders, might involve the steel chair
I've
or
literally never
candlesticks.
seen American wrestling. I've only seen Japanese.
Yeah.
And a little bit of Mexican.
I'll say this: Japan is very creative
It is.
when it comes to many forms of media.
Exactly,
Yeah,
they
and-
really are. It's really quite impressive what they can do with. Anyway.
Don't even get me
I'm
started.
pretty sure. I think they were the ones that brought us the whole "is it cake or is it chocolate?" the freaking craze that we
Doorknobs.
had.
Like there was a show where they'd like bake things out of chocolate and you had to guess, and
Yep.
one guy just took a bite of a doorknob, and luckily it was
He goes,
chocolate. But
"Oh."
Yeah.
Like,
But
yeah.
I do love what Ammo had quoted. He brought up Kate from Men in Black. 15 minutes ago, you knew that humans were alone on this planet. Imagine what you'll know tomorrow. But
oh, yeah.
when it
This is so true.
Good movies,
Yeah.
by the way. God,
Oh,
I
yeah,
really, I
Men in
really
Black.
rewatch those.
now, when it comes to tabletop all over the place, each of the major countries has their own games that have a much bigger foothold.
Quick thing, I am going to need to be right back in about 5 seconds. So,
No worries.
I'm so sorry for the unannounced interruption. It's just like, oh, whoops.
You need to take a Watsy. I got it.
Yeah, I'll be right back.
Yep.
Oh my goodness.
But when it comes to like Japan, one of the bigger homegrown entries is Sword World, which some people have gotten some of the details very wrong on that, and I've had to spend a lot of time correcting the record. Because a common, especially after that William SRD video dropped, a common misconception that people have is that Record of Lodoss War led to Sword World. That is not true. Record of Lodoss War had its own TTRPG because originally it was a D&D replay, but when they wanted to make Lodoss an official campaign setting, TSR was not cooperative. So they're like, "All right, we'll make our own Lodoss books," and then suddenly TSR started getting pissy about that. So Lodoss Companion was made to be a way to do Lodoss without using D&D's rule set. And Sword World was made by the same team to service a different market at the time. Lodoss was more for those who had more of a video game background, whereas Sword World was more for the tabletop background. Lodoss would eventually get folded into Sword World when TCGs ended up eating everybody's lunch in the 90s. But the other thing is, I've seen some people refer to Sword World as the game that beat D&D, which isn't really the case because D&D
is still around.
Is still around. I know that there's that anime that's their attempt to try and break into the Japanese market. The problem is they waited too long. Like there was an opportunity that they could have done that back in the 80s, but not anymore. Not when so many other folk have established way too strong of a foothold. And although I did end up ranting that they've been sitting on their hands with the Karator setting, but they decided to make that a Japanese exclusive thing for some modules. Like, I've been asking for that setting for years, and this is what you give me? What the fuck?
Bruh.
And I know some people play the offended game regarding the name of the source book, where that was in AD&D Oriental Adventures, which, okay, fine, just don't use the name, but give me Karatur so I can show people that you don't need to do this European pastiche if you're doing fantasy.
Right.
That's a pet peeve. That's a pet peeve of mine, where people assume that in order for it to be fantasy, it has to be doing that Tolkien-esque pastiche.
Isn't fantasy like the definition of fantasy? Like, if it's I don't know what I'm trying to say here. It's like fantasy is just literally nothing. Is just whatever that's like physically impossible in our current real reality. I feel it's like
yeah. I had written a bit on this when I was developing my Final Fantasy TTRPG, which is out and in feature complete state.
Hell yeah!
And one of the things we said in a part called the Myth of Roots was anything that defies reality can be considered fantasy. And that was mainly a response to a mindset I was seeing when FF16 was announced. That FF's going back to its medieval roots, and I'm like, that's not really the case. You can make that argument with some games, but Final Fantasy is not one of them. And I had made very clear that a lot of console style RPGs have a very mixed genre attitude, much like a lot of popular media across Asia has a very mixed genre attitude. You're not going to see the hard lines between genres and subgenres like you might in other parts of the world. And incidentally, this is why I've said that some folk are going to the traditional rule set with D&D is always going to struggle trying to emulate manga, especially like shonen battle manga, because
because you got like people zipping around at light speed, definitely more than 30 feet per 6 seconds, or 60 even. It's like that's some heavy homebrew rules you'd have to do to simulate a shonen battle manga.
You could homebrew it, but at what point are you becoming a homebrewer, and what point are you a backseat designer? And if Bethesda is going to get all the shit that they get for expecting modders to bail them out, I don't think TTRPG devs should get the same excuse.
Yeah.
But within, it's funny you bring up that, because I have one particular thing that's been brought up with my game is the fact that I don't use grid combat as its default rules. I instead use a row-based system.
A row-based system?
Yeah. Front row, back row. And there are multiple reasons why I did this. One of them is genre emulation. That's the way the majority of Final Fantasy entries were doing it. The other is, I felt that when I looked at the idea of doing grid combat, I realized that it created more problems than it would solve, and it would go against one of the design pillars that I had.
Okay.
That being setting agnostic.
I'm back.
Being more about mythos.
Welcome back.
And I did a straight tweet about this when it comes to grid combat, but I made this analogy to the way formations work in American and Canadian football, where in the NFL you have these very tight defensive focused formations, and in the CFL you have these very spread out formations that
I never watched football.
And I look at it like this: that particular 30 feet of movement kind of action economy that you see in games with grid combat is very much conducive to the confined dungeon exploration approach from the early years. But as time has gone on, we've seen more and more people design not necessarily dungeons, but encounter set pieces. Less like a dungeon and more like a stage, hence like these set on a film.
Yes.
Okay.
And these are a lot more open, with a lot more room to maneuver. But the action economy hasn't caught up to that shift.
What do you mean?
It's still operating under that same limited movement setup, even though we've had more and more open designs when it comes to encounter
I was
layout.
thinking like, I'll confess, I was thinking like terms of like Pathfinder 2nd Edition, where you have like, you can potentially move like 3 times per turn or something. So my brain was like, wait, what? Oh, I get it.
Yeah, whereas like in D&D, it's like, okay, I have my base movement that's 30 feet. Then I have my actions, be it my spell action, my attack, or multi-attack, depending on how high level you are. Your free item interaction. What the hell? If you have a bonus action,
So
that's a
how it
thing.
works.
But moreover, this is still using this is still operating under that wargaming DNA since the 1970s.
Wait, 1970s? The wargaming's been going since 1811.
D&D was a successor.
Sorry, I felt like I had to pull in that little bit of trivia there.
Oh, don't believe me. I know. I've read through the manual of the original Strategio.
Like Kriegspiel or something?
Yeah.
I may have written 3 articles on that at my old job. Okay, I'm a nerd.
Nice.
At one point, there was a version of that thing at the University of Minnesota, but it's no longer. It's since been moved elsewhere.
Oh shit.
Also had a weird thing where it was using a spinning top as a randomizer, but that's.
I love that. That's freaking awesome.
All right.
But D&D was a successor to Chainmail. Chainmail was born out of the wargaming scene that got a lot of popularity in the 1970s.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the bad habits with D&D over the years are a result of keeping those traditions, even when the line between war game and role-playing game became more and more distinct.
Right.
Think of it how yes, there is some connective tissue between MMA and pro wrestling, but they've evolved into 2 completely different directions over the years.
Right.
It's in that kind of vein. And nowadays you have whole generations of people who play TTRPGs who have never touched a war game. When in the early years that wasn't the case. You had people crossing over between both. That's not to say that
with like a mix of. Okay, well, I grew up with like a mix of D&D and Fire Emblem, so that's part of it for me.
Yeah. I did play a fair bit of Fire Emblem before ever getting into D&D.
I'm talking about Fire Emblem Awakening and Fate, so I'm talking about actually newer games. Wow, I don't know if I feel old or young right with that comment.
Huh. Yes.
I mean, I've played the original Game Boy game, though I got on an emulator.
When I'm referring to war games, even something like Fire Emblem isn't large enough scale.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
We are
talking about like Warhammer or Kriegspiel kind of scale, huh?
Yeah. Things, and the very early ones, especially from people like Avalon Hill, were trying to replicate pike and shot or World War types of combat.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I see.
This is also around the same time that you got the infamous monster board games, like the much mocked and celebrated, quote unquote, the Campaign for North Africa.
Nice.
The game where the board is larger than a small child.
Hooray!
Oh god, what?
Yeah, there's this infamous image of somebody's kid laying next to the board, and the board's bigger than the kid.
I love that. I'm gonna have to look that up later.
That's crazy.
Oh, actually, this reminds me. So, do you know when the first usage of the word hit point comes from?
No, actually, I don't.
I'm curious if Mildred here knows.
I know because I had to do some back and forth with Macris when he was filing a lot of OGL stuff off of his game.
Oh my god! I found that picture of the kid next to the North Africa map.
Mm-hmm.
Hit points come from 1820.
Yep. But
invented in Prussia, a nation that no longer exists, sadly.
Oh shit!
Yep. But getting back to it.
I'm so sorry.
Mm-hmm.
It's because of that issue of going more confined or going more open, and the fact that I'm not really building for any one setting. That was the reason I didn't use grid combat, and I've seen a lot of people go, I want to run tactics in your system. Can I build grid? Can you make grid combat for that? And I'm like, why do you need that? Why can't you just run a game that's set in Ivalice?
I don't get it.
I've
tactics.
Final Fantasy Tactics.
Oh, okay. I've never played it. Sorry, my brain thought you just meant the concept of tactics in general. Sorry, I was very confused for a moment.
But the policy that I've had is if somebody wants to homebrew that, go right ahead. But I'm not giving you any help. I'm not going to get in your way, but I'm not helping you either. So,
all right, fair.
But it's what we call the "I'm not your dad" policy.
I'm not your dad policy.
But when it comes to that genre mixing that Amma pointed out when he brings up Juarez Blade, which I am very much looking forward to. I've had a close eye on that for a few years.
What do you mean genre mixing?
When this was
sorry, this must have come up while I was away. I'm so sorry.
While you were away, I did make a bit of a comment about why, unless you really house rule it, a lot of the more traditional fantasy games will always struggle trying to emulate manga. Part of it is the movement thing. Another aspect is a lot of popular media across Asia, and Japan is no exception, likes to play loose with genre, as opposed to sticking to one particular genre and its conventions.
Well, genre is just a marketing concept, more or less, in the end.
It is and it isn't. And when it comes
the more granular you get with the description of a genre, the harder it is to define.
Well, what was it? It's like it'd be hard to play a shonen manga with D&D because with D&D like rule sets, because it's like in My Hero, you have people being able to like go insane distances in a matter of seconds, whereas in the normal D&D setting, in the normal D&D rules, a normal character, even at a high level, could go like maybe 50 feet within 6 seconds, maybe 100 feet.
Okay, so the thing is, I'm more or less isolated. Like, I'm in a bubble. Believe it or not, somehow as a VTuber, I'm in a bubble from like most shonen anime and stuff like. So it's like, that didn't even cross my mind as a story concept until now. I'm so sorry.
The other factor is you have a lot of characters in those sort of manga that are gishes. Gish.
Oh wait, wow! I have not heard that term in years. Holy flap!
I don't think I heard that.
Yeah,
but if you explain it, I may
heard someone say that.
Gish is a catch-all term for characters who are reasonably decent in both fighting and casting. The term
I just assume that's. I honestly assume that's most D&D characters, but I have not played D&D. In Pathfinder, that is a common thing.
Some classes you can do both like a fighter and also a spellcaster, but
it varies. And of course, there's
Pathfinder. It's a lot more common. Most classes like Second Edition are gishes by definition. So yeah.
From what with Pathfinder Second Edition, it depends on feat allocation. If it isn't using actual spells, I don't count it for gish. So all of those spell-like ability.
What defines a spell?
If it is using the spell system, it counts as a spell.
All right. Well, but Bard can still punch if they want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's also the fact that, again, with that whole playing fast and loose with the genre, that also applies to characterization.
What do you mean?
You look at.
I'm sorry if I asked that too much.
Look at any cast from any major shonen battle manga, going all the way back to even DBZ or even before that. Even looking at things like wuxia works. You have characters who are not in the typical assumption of the caster archetype. Because of a lot of them leaning into the idea of chi and how that works. Okay. It's a very mixed affair. This is why
I just don't get it.
that's part of the learning process. And there's also the fact that regardless you'd have to do a lot of house ruling. I mean, I've talked about Naruto 5e, which is not 5e compatible despite the name. It changes so much that it is essentially in its own bubble.
Oh, yeah, I would assume if it was like a little, wait, I assume third-party rulebooks were usually in their own bubble.
Not necessarily.
I think a lot base their rules off of current source rule sets.
I see. Okay.
And they try to like deviate a little bit.
Didn't know that.
It is rare. It is when it comes to third party for say D&D or Pathfinder. It is the closest thing to being in their own bubble is when it's a campaign setting book.
I see.
Right.
Anything else, it is expanding on it. That's why the term expansion is well used.
Oh, okay. Or splat book back in the day. I don't know why the hell we called them that.
I feel like the term was used because of the sheer volume of stuff that came out during that OGL bubble from 2000 to 2005.
Yeah, that would do it.
There are some games that were using it as a base, but were very much doing their own thing, like Know Your Role, which was a D20 wrestling game, which
that's pretty cool. Heck
nice.
Yeah.
That had the WWE license.
Nice.
The people behind it would later do a legally distinct version called Wild World Wrestling, which still uses a D20, but is not using the D20 system.
Okay. Well, I mean, when you think about it, a D20 is just sort of a scaled down D100. It's, 25% odd chances.
There was a report that a statistician did some years back that my brother Zan and I have referenced, where they went into a bunch of die systems and their bell curves, and the report found that no die resolution system has a statistically significant advantage over others.
Yeah, makes sense.
It really comes down to preference.
I was thinking if it's easier to math out because, you can just divide 120 segments. So it's like, for that one, it's like, okay, I can see why. It's an easy way to shorthand it.
Yeah. I did have some people asking why I used the D20 for mine, and it was a case of I wanted to keep that part simple because there was going to be more complicated stuff elsewhere.
Yeah.
In particular, the entirety of my class.
System. Wow, that didn't click for me until just now. Now I get it.
Yeah, I've been working on it I worked on it for 4 years.
Congratulations! Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry for being so oblivious. This is what you get into with me.
But when it comes to, and admittedly, when it comes to resolution systems, I do think there's still a lot of untapped potential when it comes to cards.
Oh.
Because there's only been a scant handful of RPGs that use cards.
Oh god, I'm having a flashback to what was the class called? The Templar or something in 3.5? It was from Tome of Battle. It had randomized recharge rates, and you had to use a deck of cards to really track it in a normal manner.
I do like
you
use
know what I'm
of
talking
cards.
about at all?
There weren't any. You had the reference cards for maneuvers, but there weren't any classes in Tome of Battle that required a deck of cards.
I know they didn't require them, but I'm trying to remember the name of this one class because it was a lot easier to play if you used a deck of cards as a reference for it. My brain is slipping on it.
It wasn't any of the ones in Tome of Battle, I can tell you that much.
I'm looking it up now. 1 second. Crusader. It's called Crusader.
Oh.
I could read for you the well, it's like several paragraphs long. How you recharge your maneuvers. That's the problem.
Oh Jesus!
They wildly overcomplicate it to the point where, unless you're drawing cards, it's very hard to randomly determine which one you get.
Interesting.
When it came to when it came to Tome of Battle, I remember a lot of people shitting on it, and I remember people shitting on me for the fact that
Oh, I love Tome of Battle.
Here's what I found
I
funny.
found the paragraph.
Here's what I found funny.
Oh yeah.
There were quite a few people who had argued that it was stepping on the toes of that it was stepping on the toes of casters. I find this absolutely hilarious.
That's hilarious.
Because you had so many casters stepping on everyone else's toes and having spells and effects that basically rendered other archetypes completely useless. Or were doing things just fire and forget that would take other archetypes to actually roll for.
Fair. There was a very different design philosophy from the start of 3rd edition to the end of 3.5.
Yeah, it was Monty Cook being a dickhead.
The name sounds familiar. I can't remember much about him though.
Yeah, he's better now. He's better now, but back then he had this ivory tower attitude of system mastery should be rewarded and system ignorance should be punished.
Oh, jeez.
I see.
And it resulted in some very stupid things, along with a lot of traps.
Fighters in 3rd edition were rough. Oof.
They were a glorified dip. They weren't the biggest offender of the trap problem. I'd say that goes to Monk.
Oh, definitely.
Like Monk is the poster boy
thankful for how Pathfinder handled monks. Oh, thank goodness for that. Ooh.
I love monks.
I've never been fully satisfied with how monks have been handled. I think the only time I felt satisfied with a monk design was 13th Age.
Well, okay, I will say one thing that Pathfinder has going for it is I played a character that you could describe as a monk. They were unarmed. They fought unarmed, and they have some vaguely sort of inspiration, source of will-based magic, supernatural abilities. The thing was, I actually used a war priest, which is like a cleric, as their base. They didn't actually have any monk levels. They wore heavy armor, but they did kind of fit the archetype at the same time. It was fun.
But now I will note that.
Sorry, we got too off topic.
I will note this going forward when it comes to the plans for the Valley.
Oh yeah.
So you will not be seeing any book that is tied to D&D or Pathfinder in the series.
Oh, okay.
Sure. All right.
In fact, I've gone out of my way to not be yet another D&D channel like so many of my so-called peers.
Is that a thing?
Understandable.
Yeah.
Wait, is that actually a thing?
Yes.
There's a lot of D&D, Pathfinder podcast channels. I listen to 3 different D&D people.
Wow. I had no idea that was the thing that existed.
Well, one of them's currently in a Call of Cthulhu season.
Oh my.
Their previous 2 seasons were D&D.
Wait, so are they like campaigns people stream or something?
Sometimes it's campaigns, sometimes it's discussing characterization, but a lot of them focus primarily on first party material. And I'm all about the totality of the tabletop space, so that wasn't going to fly.
I see.
Right.
Now, when I say the totality, that means not just not just indies, but also fan projects are just as on the table. I mean, one of my favorite reviews that I did a few years ago was on a game that seemed like a massive shitpost until people read it. That being Dungeons the Dragoning.
Dungeons the Dragoning.
What's that? What's that like?
That is a mixing of like 5 different games into one and making the whole thing work. Because it is mixing elements of D&D, World of Darkness, Exalted, Planescape.
Sounds like a system then.
Dark Heresy, and 7th Sea.
In my head, that's just called the system.
All in one giant cocktail, and it completely works.
Oh.
Everybody thought it was a shitpost because the guy behind it, Lawful Dice, released it on April Fool's Day. Then they realized it wasn't. He apparently did the whole thing on a dare.
That's
nice.
crazy.
I dig it.
But
I'm into it.
And I've spoken highly about things like Naruto 5e, of course, as well as the various game adaptations of different IPs. I did a whole review and then a later interview on Reclaim the Wild, which is a Zelda TTRPG that leans more into Breath of the Wild than some previous Zelda attempts.
I've never really played Zelda. I played 2 of the games.
Same.
And
Wind Waker mostly.
You know, the team behind the Valor TTRPG, I knew of them when they originally did Bleach D20.
I see. I remember Bleach D20. I don't know what Valor is.
Done by
That
the same
probably
team.
again tells my age. What was that?
Done by the same team.
I see.
But so there's going to be quite the variety of games and quite the variety of new games you're going to be exposed to in this valley.
Interesting.
Now, the episode format is structured between seasons and one-shots. The idea being, we are going to be going through segment by segment different TTRPG core books.
Ooh.
The inspiration for this concept comes from a blogger that I'm a very big fan of, J. Stephen Anyang, also known as The Life and Times of a Philippine Gamer, who does these Let's Study series, which he's still doing. He's doing one for Coriolis 2nd edition currently. And obviously we're not going through an entire book in one stream. That would be a bit excessive, so it's divided into segments. Every 3 weeks, there is a thing called the 3-in-1 rule.
Okay.
The 3-in-1 rule is where instead of focusing on the core book that we currently are, we shift into doing either covering a much lighter game or covering a quick start for a game.
I don't entirely grasp the concept of this format, but okay.
3 regular episodes, 1 one-shot episode, rinse, repeat.
Okay, so each episode is a different game, right?
I think I get it.
Each of the one-shot episodes is a different game.
Gotcha. So
what
basically,
are the other ones then? That's what I'm confused by.
So I think what he's trying to say is the first 3 episodes will be us discussing whatever system we're going over, and then once we're knowledgeable after those 3 sessions, we'll play a one-shot with the rule set.
Not quite.
Oh, okay.
It's still going over kind of read and reacting to the PDFs of the different games.
Shoot, really? Didn't know that. Anyway.
But because of the fact that the full-size books that we'd go over, those are in the designation of seasons.
Mm-hmm.
I see.
It is those seasons. The idea is covering like a single chapter or a segment of that core book.
So the thing is, I've been out of the loop for a very long time with games like this. How long are these books then?
It depends on.
I'm
It depends from
they're
game to
way
game.
bigger than I'm picturing. Like I'm picturing like 50 pages or something.
Oh no.
No.
Oh,
If you look, I was gonna say if you look at the normal player's handbook for D&D,
I don't know.
it's at least like 300.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought it was one book per stream. Okay, interesting.
The only time we would do one book, quote unquote, is the one shot episodes. Those would cover a lighter game. Maybe it's whether it be the size of a zine or something around 50 pages, since a good chunk of that is going to be stuff that I would normally skip, like a module.
Mm-hmm.
I see.
And the approach that we do that is done is every 3 episodes of the full size book between that and the next 3 episode segment is a one shot.
Okay.
So just as an example, let me grab one of the more recent playlists. I'll grab the one that was done for let's grab the one for Farsight, which is Farsight is an Italian game that is very much doing space opera, using what is referred to as a 5e evolved system that instead of using a d20 uses 2d12s.
That is convoluted as heck, but okay.
It's not that convoluted.
No, it's overcomplicating it. You could just use 20-sided dice. You cut down the number of dice that way.
Some people
I think it's just
whenever I see 20 moving pieces in this system, it bugs me, I'll be honest.
Gotcha.
But you're going to see some that use more dice, you're going to see some that use less dice. There is no royal road to game design. But
it's kind of like
there's some general bits of advice that can be followed to help smooth things out, but fair.
But
like with Call of Cthulhu, your only dice you most of the time roll is 2d10s. And then
know that.
a different die depending on whatever kind of like damage from a weapon, like a pistol or your fist.
Yeah, it is.
I was just saying, if it's a strange ratio, 2 to 24 is an odd spread.
I said 2d12. I don't know where you got 24.
Yes. Oh, because if you max out the 2 dice, it equals the 24.
2d12 equals a result from 2 to 24.
Yeah.
Which is a total of 22 results, which is a strange spread.
Is it
definitely interesting?
You're going to see a lot of different. Different does not always mean strange or weird, but getting back to...
No, I'm saying it's unusual or odd.
I will say I've never heard of a system prioritize D12s. Nonetheless, 2 of them. However, I appreciate that it uses 2d12s because I very rarely ever see a d12 be used, and I'm sad about that fact, but I'm happy that I'll get to be doing such.
But when we covered Farsight, the first episode was on the introduction and character creation, then the rules chapter, then equipment and technologies chapter, then we covered a different game for 1 week. Then episodes 4 and 5, we covered the remaining chapters for Farsight. On the Friday edition of the Valley of the Judge, I'm doing a similar format, but using Draw Steel. And Draw Steel is going to take a lot of time. I'd said that I'm going to be doing that for the rest of the year, especially since it's going on that same 3-in-1 rule. And obviously in the Valley of the Judge chat in my Discord that you guys have access to, you can see the format that I have with that. I do need to edit that so you are on that. But
fair.
The general approach is alternating between a larger project and then a smaller project on a 3-to-1 ratio, as mentioned.
I guess that's fair. seems like an odd method, but that's fair.
Like last week I covered the Conduit class for Draw Steel. Tomorrow I'm going to cover the Elementalist. Then on the 19th, the Fury, and then on the 26th, as part of that 3-in-1 rule, I'm covering Infinite Revolution. Then the cycle repeats. Three more Draw Steel, then a lighter one-shot game, then 3, and it keeps going until we finish.
Okay.
And that's how these kind of things will work. So when the episode that we'll be doing next week is going to be one of our one shots. We'll be covering the game Prequel.
Okay. I see.
Prequel. It is a lighter game, and it is described as a history-building boss fight TTRPG.
What?
History building
strange
boss
concept,
fight.
but okay.
The tagline being, "You will fall, but you are not the end."
Oh,
Yeah, that's very cheesy, but okay.
ominous. I like it.
Yeah. The idea is that it is a RPG focused on a particular boss fight, who is broadly referred to as the campaign's evil. This is a multi-phased boss fight, akin to the bosses you would see in a Souls-like, where you are doing
much exposure to.
you are doing world building in this kind of cycle where when you start out, you are facing against that evil. You're going to lose, and then the story is going to continue on with your with successive generations trying against that evil.
Okay, I need to say this.
Oh,
That could be done in any system. You don't have to make a system for these things. That's a story concept. Story and system are separate. Sorry, that just annoys me. Anyway.
You're going to see...
I should try to shake that off.
interesting concept.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. Sorry. I'll let you continue. It's your stream.
But we'll be covering that. We'll be covering that next week. The week after, we will be delving into as the first proper season with you all into Kamigakari.
Ooh.
Kamigakari is a Japanese TTRPG that was published stateside by Seven Seas, and as Xanatrix had pointed out in the chat in my server, the term refers to when a kami is possessing someone.
Mm-hmm.
I see.
Not in the forceful way, more in a symbiotic way. The analogy
I get it.
But you are dealing with everyday people who are imbued with shards of godhood. The full name is Kamigakari God Hunters. And
I see.
it is its own in-house system, as is commonplace with a lot of Japanese tabletop.
I see. I thought that was normal, but okay.
And I will be providing all relevant PDFs. I have a shared drive folder for these and other projects, including what we'll be covering and some of the stuff that will be covered in the future. Kamigakari is...
Can I? No, sorry. There's just that's not how Japanese works. The language. I mean, I'm gonna shut up. Sorry. Sorry. I'll let you continue with the setup stuff.
Obviously Kamigakari will be the full season entry. And once I have the segments set up, then I will put in the one-shot entries as needed. And some of the games that are in that are ones that aren't technically out yet, but are coming out. A similar thing was done a few weeks ago when we covered Juarez Blade, and all we had was a 50-page preview of that project.
Oh, okay.
I know that one of the other ones that I want to cover in the future, but I haven't had the chance to yet, is Fight with Spirit, which is a card-based TTRPG that is trying to emulate sports anime. So, your Ice Shield 21, your Prince of Tennis, your Captain Tsubasa, that sort of thing.
Are those all real names of anime?
Yeah.
Huh. Wow.
I think I feel like I've heard
I think I may have heard of
before.
Captain Tsubasa. That's like soccer, I think.
Yeah, or football for my European friends, because if they heard me call it the other name, they'd have me strung up.
Oh, you mean soccer?
I do not claim him.
Yeah, you come after me, not him.
If you want to give him a Goodfellas style welcome, I take no responsibility. But
the card aspect does interest me, though.
Yeah.
I love cards.
Yeah, I've seen some whenever I've brought up the whole card thing, some people bring up Savage Worlds, but I don't count that because the only time Savage Worlds uses playing cards is for its turn order system.
Mm-hmm.
And when I'm thinking of card-based systems, which Kamigakuri will not be one of them, but it will happen in the future, I'm thinking of ones that the cards are the primary resolution. Things like Dragonlance 5th Age, or the Marvel Adventure game, both of them from TSR in the 90s, or things like the Saga Machine family of games like Against the Dark Yogi or Shadows over Soul, as well as cyberpunk projects like Tokyo Nova, which I covered with Brother Sieg about a month ago. All of those games using a playing card deck or something close to it.
Ooh.
Certainly not.
Okay.
And the thing is that there are only a few styles of game that you're not going to see covered in this series.
Wrong button.
One of them is Universalist style games like Hero System or GURPS, and it's mostly because long amounts of that would be just describing powers.
Isn't that basically what all systems are?
Not necessarily.
Huh. I see.
I have played
I think,
GURPS
okay,
once.
so I'm gonna confess. I think we have extremely different views on what a tabletop RPG is. Part of the problem here.
But now the initial plan that I had was to do these at 8:30 Central. Unfortunately, I know I ended up doing this one a bit late, but that was because of tech issues. But that is the general approach.
I see.
Right.
So that'll be quite a bit of fun.
Oh yeah, no, like the start of this year, I told myself I wanted to try like different game systems that's not just D&D, because like I want to expand my repertoire and enjoy more than what I'm currently going for.
Yeah,
expand my horizons.
Expanding horizons is one of the mantras of my monastery. And when it comes as a case in point, I am running my own game on Saturdays. But the system I'm using for that is 7th Sea 2nd edition.
I see.
Which is a swashbuckling affair that was made by John Wick. No, not that one. and operates on a D10 die pool, where the main thing that matters is how many sets of 10 you roll.
Oh, okay.
It is very much wearing its swashbuckling influence on its sleeve, and the module I'm putting them through can be described as Pirates of the Caribbean meets Indiana Jones.
Interesting.
So that is going to be the plan on Thursdays going forward. There will be one other person who will be joining us next week, but he won't be joining us for the full season. That being Jack Jinseki, who mostly does interviews with VTubers. I've been on his show twice. One for when I was
fun. Well, that's pretty cool.
One for when I was just getting my legs out as a VTuber, and then later on doing a comeback when I had released the 1.0 version of my Final Fantasy TTRPG Legend Edition.
Which I gotta try your Final Fantasy system at some point.
Yeah, it is.
If I ever get the time to play an RPG again, maybe I will.
It is a big boy because Legend Edition is composed of 3 books. The core book, which is 548 pages. The Enemy Intel Field Guide, which is 114 pages, and is the full bestiary. And the Ultimania Guide, which is a expansion book, which is 154 pages.
Okay.
I see.
You know what? I think I might be overreacting because I'm looking at my D&D monster manual. It's over 350 pages, and the player's handbook is like...
What, I'll be honest, I don't have any physical books for this sort of thing. I guess in Pathfinder Adventures.
Yeah.
So like a 500 page book, that doesn't sound too bad to me, realistically.
I see.
It's
very small.
300 to 500 is kind of the standard.
He shrunk down.
Yeah, okay. So it's not too different.
Wait, I just realized. Are you shrinking and growing whenever you go closer to the tracking source? Is that how that's happening?
I've been if I like spaz or I shrink, it's just because like I'm in my chair and I swivel. So like my face is no longer looking at my.
Sorry for off topic. I've just been wondering how that's happening. Neat.
Yeah.
But that's what the plan is, and I am always on the hunt for games to put into the list. And if anyone comes across one that might fit the criteria of the temple, then I'm certainly not going to say no. There is one project that I do want to cover as far as Japanese tabletop, but I can't until December.
Why is that?
Really?
Because it is a fan translation that is under a embargo for the next 3 months.
Now, I remember those vaguely.
I am not under any obligation to follow that embargo, but I'm doing so as a don't be a dick kind of thing. Plus, I know the people who are translating it, and I'd like to keep a positive relationship with them.
No, yeah, of course.
Yeah, makes sense.
Don't burn the bridges where you don't wanna.
Yeah. The game in question is called Magic Punk. I have the fan translation, but I can't share it until December.
Oh.
As whenever they do fan translations, they do it as a 3-month embargo where you can, if you show proof that you've bought the Japanese version, then they will share with you the translation.
That's a bizarre format, but okay. Huh.
For those first 3 months. After that, they will release. After that, they release their translation fully.
I wonder why. Huh.
But
I see it. That's just how things work sometimes.
A lot of it is wanting to funnel support to the original devs.
Oh, I see.
Or the studios that those devs are associated with, like Fear is one of the bigger TTRPG publishers in Japan. The name is an acronym for Far East Amusement Research, and Fear and Group S&E are kind of the big two. But that's not to say that everybody's playing one of their games. It's that they make a bunch of games. They make a bunch of games, period, for a bunch of different audiences.
Cool.
There isn't really a one game to rule them all kind of thinking over in Japan or Germany or Brazil. Or even Sweden, for
What's
that
mean?
You know how a lot of people flock to some sort of unifying system, whether it be the various incarnations of the D20 system or Savage Worlds or GURPS.
Do they? Okay.
I think if tell me if I'm wrong, but it's just a big old preference thing.
Mm-hmm.
I see.
But there isn't a case of one system that everybody's making derivatives of in say Japan. Like a lot of people when Sword World was starting to get traction, there was the question of, is this compatible at all with Goblin Slayer, since they're both using a 2d6 system? The answer to that is no. They are completely different setups.
No, sorry. Just random side things. I keep thinking random asides and questions I want to ask, but I need to remind myself it doesn't fit the format. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. But that is kind of the direction that things go. I think there's one more that I'm hoping to cover as soon as I get the translation, because it's from all the way in Italy. But I know who's doing it, and I'm looking forward to actually covering something of his, since I haven't done that in about 6 years.
It's just Italy. It's not that far. Confession. I literally, like, when I talk about being in the campaign for 9 years, one of the other players was in Italy, so my brain goes like, okay, Italy, that should make sense. And it's like, oh wait, that's right, that's not a common experience.
But with that said, that is where I'll wrap it up for this week. So okay. I hope to see you all in here for next week at the proper
we'll see.
Oh yeah.
When we go into,
I know I'll be here.
When we go into prequel, which let me make sure I cover all my bases. And hang on, because my setup is being a bit odd. So here is the drive folder that I use. Let me put that in the side chat for you too.
Sure.
That contains some of the PDFs for current and future projects.
Ooh. Interesting.
And
hello, Batman.
And I want to cover that for a while because I really want to highlight Monolith's work.
Okay.
They're also doing a Conan RPG, but anytime that we're doing a future entry, I will put it in here.
Okay.
If it's an entry that's a glorified Word document, I'll probably convert it to PDF because that'll be easier to view.
That's basically just what a Word document is. Just saying.
But once we go through prequel, then I'm going to start setting up the segments for Kamigakari.
I see.
And it should be a fun experience. I haven't had any. I've only had 2 games that were outright duds, and that was because I spun a wheel. One of them was so bad it became a running gag. That being the question of, is this bad as the Valhalla adventure game, which was so bad I ended up.
Okay, here's the thing though. Bad games are really fun to review and look deep into the mechanics and inspirations of. Personally, I think those are the most fun ones to talk about.
Are you being attacked by your cat or something?
Oh my.
Kinda. She climbed onto my shoulder. I held her bottom half with my arm, and she decided to step on my chest with her claws slightly out. So I was just ever so slightly getting clawed as she made nest into my arm.
The claw? Not the claw.
I'm okay.
The claw. Oh yes, the claw.
Claw.
But-
Anyways,
But
sorry, as you were
it's-
saying.
yeah, so I'm looking forward to doing this. That it is always a treat to show what's out there. So
Yeah.
we will pick this up again in a week.
Huh, well, it was
I'm
nice
totally
talking to you,
down
and
for it.
I hope you have a good time.
But
yeah,
un-
thanks for having us.
Yep. But until then, on behalf of the good brothers present and not present, my name is Mildra. I am your gaming monk. Stay fucking frosty, everybody.
Soy, yo la